All right, so this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use the Google Classroom. So step one is going to be locating the email with the invitation to the classroom. So you should have by now received an email that looks like this. And if you want to pull it up in your email, what I always do is I do a search within my inbox and I just searched up Google Classroom. And so here it is. And so all I would do is go ahead and click join. And then once I hit join, it's actually going to put me right in. And it's going to take you to this page. All right, so we're looking at a Google Classroom for one of our AM cohorts right now. So notice there's three tabs at the top. There is stream, classwork, and people. And so in the stream, that's kind of like a feed where any post, anything that is uploaded to the classroom will get its own sort of announcement, and that will be posted here. As well as if any of your classmates post anything within the classroom, you will also see that here. So notice we have one of our awesome peers posted about the Cal Mesa state exam with some information. So that was really cool. And then there's some posts here for different things that have been uploaded. Almost always, you're probably going to click on classwork. This is sort of the hub for everything that we've uploaded for you and made available. And so there's a lot to take in here. If you are just starting out, the cohort has just begun, you're probably going to see a lot less, right? And the reason for that is a lot of the things that we do within the classroom, we create together. So we'll upload those as we go. And some of those items are like the class comfort agreement. Sometimes we make a class playlist. We're possibly still doing peer partner pairs, stuff like that. So those are things that we'll upload as we go. Let's start here on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, it's going to be all of the topics that we instructors have uploaded. And so for this classroom, you can see that we've uploaded a lot of topics that we've covered so far. So for example, the welcoming training, which is usually our first training. We have all of the handouts posted here. And then we went in and added a link to the recording after the training was held. So if you're interested in seeing any of the recordings for your class, you can always come back in and find a recording after the class is held. And again, all of the handouts are posted within here. We also have that class resource tab. So here I have the class playlist that we created. Voluntary peer partner pairs are listed in here. This is a tutorial on how to download and use Adobe Scan on a smartphone, which is really helpful in case you want to send any scans in, perhaps of a training agreement, your homework, etc. Adobe Scan is a really, really helpful tool. So we have a tutorial on that. The class comfort agreement is here and a tool that was provided by one of our peers. So we have everything in here under class resources. So that's sort of like our, again, the items that we look to create together. And this is stuff specifically for the classroom and sort of our learning environment. We will also have a state exam prep topic. Here we will post anything that is directly related to the state exam. So we have our study group schedule posted in here, as well as the information on how to join. There's another place to find this, which I will show in a bit. We also have a link to all of our course materials so far in here. We may or may not have this for your cohort because again, if class barely begun, there might not be too much to share, right? But we look to kind of add this in after we've covered a few topics so far. This was requested by a couple of our peers actually. They suggested that we have just sort of a one spot, like a one-stop shop or spot to find all of the material that has been shared for all of the courses. So that's right in here. And then we have the Cal Mesa test preparation guide in here. So you can click on it and download it. And that's what we have so far under state exam prep. And again, you will find other topics that we have covered so far to the left. Those are all in here. And so this might look shorter, right? You might only see a couple, again, if the class barely began, because we upload stuff as we're covering the topics. We don't want to bombard anyone with giving all of the handouts, all of the materials. That can get very confusing. So ideally, you're going to have just a couple of different things here. And then click back on classwork to take us to that main frame. And so up here at the top, you're looking, this class is already like in we're actually in week 7. We have not assigned any homework yet for week 6 and 7. And so here you're seeing previous homework assignments. We do upload those in here. And we don't assign them under a topic just because we want to keep them at the top, nice and organized and all together. You'll notice that there's some gray icons and some blue icons. What does that mean? Well, I am logged in on the student account. I made one for myself just so I can see what it looks like from the student side. And so the gray icons are for homework that I have already submitted. And the ones that are highlighted blue are ones that I have not submitted yet. Okay, so that's a good indicator as to what you might still need to complete. If they're all great, good job. But the blue icons are highlighting things that we still need to complete. You can actually click on these to expand them. And this will give you all of the full instructions for the homework. If there's any handouts that are needed for the homework or a form, anything like that, that will also be attached in here. And you can click view assignment to expand it fully. And what's really great about this is it gives you a space to add any class comments. So just note that any class comments that are added here are viewable to any of your other peers. So these will be visible to everyone. And if you might have saw that little note there that we can actually tag people in here. That could be helpful if, say, you wanted to tag your instructor. I don't even know if it'll bring up my name. I think not because I'm signed in as Mary Mojica right now. But you can actually tag your peers in here. You know, perhaps one of your peers called you over the weekend with a question about the homework, and you're like, "Hey," and I'm just going to use the person that's here. "Hey, Kaylee, you know, the instructions are right here," etc. And it'll tag them right in there. On the right-hand side is a section for private comments. And so this is a great space to ask any questions directly to the instructors. You can ask a question about the homework, and honestly, if you wanted to, you can even type your homework in here, and it'll post right here. Another thing, and let's go to a homework that I have not submitted yet. So this is what it looks like when you're first looking at the homework, right? We have not submitted it. We haven't done any work. Again, here's those class comments, that section, and then private comments to the right. Again, we can use this to ask questions or even type in our homework right in here. But there's some other features in here. Notice this one says add or create. So let's say that we needed to type something out. We can actually do that on what's called a Google Doc. And so we are going to hit add or create, and we can go ahead and choose docs. Right? If we wanted to type up a new document, you can do that right in here. And so what it did is it created the doc, and then I just clicked on it to open it. And it opened up in a new tab, right? And so this looks, if you've seen Microsoft Word, it's kind of similar. This is what Google Docs is, right? It's another sort of document application. And so we could type in our homework right in here. And then after we're done, and notice you have all the features to edit it and add formatting. But basically after you're done, you can go ahead and hit turn in. So I'm just gonna type some gibberish here. And so if I wanted to, I can go ahead and hit turn in. And so it gives you a prompt. It says one attachment will be submitted for homework for week 2. Like basically, are you sure you want to turn it in? Yes, I want to turn it in. And so I would hit turn in. And now my homework has been submitted. So that was really cool, right? Again, it gives you a space to create docs within the homework assignment portal, and you could turn it straight in from there. We can also, I went ahead and unsubmitted it. But if for some reason it didn't show it as turned in, it also gives you an extra button to hit turn in. We have previously submitted homework by email. So maybe I already submitted this in a different format. Just for whatever reason, I didn't submit it here and I'm not making an attachment through here. I can go ahead and come in here and still mark it as turned in, which is going to be helpful to the instructors because there is a portal and sort of a grade page where for every single person in the class, it marks each assignment as submitted or not submitted. So even if I submitted it by email in another way, it's just really helpful if I come in here and mark it as turned in. Right? That way nothing shows up as not submitted for myself within the classroom. So that's what the homework looks like. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of come back to that classwork page. And so you'll notice some links up here. This link, this view your work link, that appears after you've actually submitted any work. This is a really cool option because it lets you view your work, right? You can view the things that you've already submitted. So if you're like, did I turn in that homework? What did I actually submit? For whatever reason, you just want to go back, you'll see all of that stuff here. And so you can click on them to expand and then view anything that you attached. And the way you would view them is click directly on them, right? And it'll open it up. Am I missing anything? No, not missing anything so far. Was anything returned to me? No. Returned means like perhaps I didn't complete an assignment in full or I made an error. Those assignments could possibly be returned, and so you would find them here. But you would also get a notification within the homework assignment itself. It'll show up as returned. So just coming back here again, there are these other two links. We're not going to focus on Class Drive folder right now, but we are going to look at the Google Calendar. And so this is a calendar that has been created just for your class. And you're seeing some extra stuff in here. My apologies. I have my personal calendar on. If that happens to you, right? If you see a bunch of extra stuff, look over here to the low, to like the sort of lower left-hand area. These are all of the different calendars. So if you already use Google for your personal stuff and you utilize that calendar maybe in your phone, etc., you're probably going to have some stuff in here. So if you want to clean it up to just look at the class stuff, just make sure that the calendar that is selected is only for your class. So it's probably going to say something like California Association of Peer Supporters Academy and your cohort. Right, so let's say we're looking at the AM cohort. So again, if you want to look at it in a cleaner way, you will make sure that just that one calendar is selected. And so in here, you will see the calendar for our study groups, actually. We went ahead and added those in. And what's really cool about this is say you're like, when do I have study groups? You know, today's Monday. Oh, look, there's one at 4 o'clock. So maybe closer to 4 o'clock, I'm coming in here and all you need to do is click on it. And you can actually click right on the link and it will take you right in. Right? It'll open up that meeting and just take you directly to the group. And you could do that for any of our other groups. Notice the link is the same for all of them. We did that so that way it never gets confusing. It can be very confusing when we have a bunch of different links for stuff. And so that's what we have in here so far. Perhaps another thing that we will add in here is maybe classmate birthdays for those that are open to sharing their birthday. That's something that we can add in here. So we can all give a birthday shout out in the stream, or maybe even do something within the class. Any assignments that are due, you will also see those in here. So let's go back to a previous month so you can see what that looks like. So we have this homework assignment due for the 28th, and it looks like it was due at about 9 a.m. And so you will see those right on your calendar as well. The instructions are here, as well as the link on where to view this assignment within the classroom. And that's your Google Calendar for the class. Under people, this is where you will see like who's in the class, who are your classmates. You'll see everyone in here. And then also any teachers that are signed in, you will also view them here. So most of your stuff, more than often, you're going to come into classwork and let's say you're getting ready for training today. Today happens to be self-disclosure in the workplace, so I'm going to look for it. It's right here. I could come in here and grab the handouts and look at them, and I could save them. So normally what I like to do, you can also print them. Notice there's like a print function here. If I wanted to just print them out right away, I could do that. I'm going to go ahead and open this in a new window. And the reason I did that is so I can get these other functions. So I went ahead and hit these three dots, and then I clicked open in new window. And now it gives me a couple more features. So this one here lets me add a shortcut for this handout to my own drive. So if you just want to save your own handouts to your own, maybe your own folder in your Google Drive, that's something you can do directly from here. Again, we could print, and I can also just download it, right? Let's say more than often, you're probably just going to download the handouts and just have them ready and available for class. So you can just download it here and it will save to your computer. More actions. You're probably never going to use these. Maybe share, right? Maybe one of your peers reached out to you and was like, oh, I couldn't find the handout. Hopefully that's not the case because they could go into their classroom. But let's just say you wanted to share this with someone. You can click share and then type in their email address to share it to them and hit send. Great. After we have held the topic, again, we will add the recording in here. You're going to see some extra instructions in here. We had to add in some extra instructions for the handouts because a lot of the handouts that we create are fillable forms, which means you can type directly into them. And I know I sped through really fast. This form right here is actually fillable, but it doesn't show it as such. And if I open it with Google Docs, it still might not show it as such. So if you're interested in using the fillable option on this form, I strongly recommend to download it and then just open it up on your computer. And let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to hit download. Now I'm going to open it. And I'm going to go to the very bottom. Voila. So notice that's actually fillable, which means I can go in here and type directly into the form, which is really helpful. It opened up on my browser, but if I wanted to go into my documents and then find it in my downloads, I can also do that. Really doesn't matter. Most important thing is making sure that I save it afterwards. But that's how you access the fillable version for our handouts. You're gonna wanna just download them and then open them up on your computer. When we open stuff up in Google Docs, it can sometimes reformat and just look a little funky. And the notes are also fillable. Right? So I can type in any of my own notes right in here. Going back to the classroom and the classwork, that's basically it. We're not going to look at the class drive folder for now. It's not something we're currently using. But yeah, that's it. And this is a short tutorial on what you can do with the Google Classroom and just sort of how to use it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Georgie Sullivan, our training assistant, or your assigned staff supporter. Thank you.